Well, hello and welcome to the bedroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elfers for September 25th, the day of the Symbiotic Satirist. And here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of the Symbiotic Satirist. We have us a picture of, what could it be? Hopefully it's in focus. It's a kangaroo and some kind of an end table with raised ends so you can, I don't know, stack stuff in there. Maybe like beverage bottles or some such. Who's to say? It's not necessarily important, but maybe we can draw some connotations as to why they chose that as we get on with the reading. But what is important is it is September 25th and it's somebody's birthday today. So we're here to wish you a happy birthday. That's right. That's what's important. If it's your birthday today and September 25th, I just want to say happy birthday. Now, this video finds you, I don't know, long or shortly after the day has already come to pass. Well, hope you had a happy birthday. That's right. For everybody else who's just joining us randomly, or more ideally to celebrate September 25th birthday, I want to say hello and welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Now, before we dive in with the reading direct, let's roll some dice. That's right. This is the DykASSt A birthday broadcast, so we need to live up to the namesake by rolling some dice. But more importantly, we do it for synchronicity's sake. Oh, we rolled us some doubles there. A 6 and a 6 for a 12. Oh, straight to jail there. All right, what is synchronicity, you may be wondering? As you're on your way to jail, ostensibly. Well, it's just you putting yourself out into the world and letting the universe show you it's with you on your path. That's right. And you do that by going out in the world, maybe like town square, maybe, and looking for your numbers. That's right. And when you see them, you chase after them with a hunger. That's right. Now, these don't necessarily have to be your numbers. You could roll your own, but the intention is there. All right. And so maybe you just keep your eyes out, maybe see the number 12 bus. Well, jump on that thing. Maybe you don't like riding the bus, but hey, we're out here doing something, right? This is your birthday. You got to buy in, okay? And so when you're going down on the bus, and then you see maybe the number 6 stop. Well, hey, that's screaming out to you. So get on off of there, and you find yourself, well, maybe it's the authorities, and they lock you up because you're on your way to jail. And you know what? Hey, Australia was a prison colony. Guess what? They got the kangaroos there. Hey, there's some synchronicity for you. Why would they send you to Australia? I don't know. Maybe the paperwork gets mixed up, but that's some synchronicity for you if and something like that was to ever happen. Any event, I think you get the idea. It's just the universe putting little things in your path and just showing you it's with you there on your path, as I said before. So you meant, yeah, get out there and look for your numbers as you go to jail. So that being said, let's get in on the birthday read. All right, your month of September, your day the 25th, your sign is 1 to 3 degrees Libra, and the period is a Libra 1. That's right. And your element and quality is Cardinal air. All right, here we go. September 25th, the day of the Symbiotic Satirist. Those born on September 25 live in a curious relationship with their society. On the one hand, they are dependent on it for their sustenance, and ultimately their success. On the other hand, they are often openly critical of it and capable of ironically exposing its faults. In doing so, they may actually show how the social fabric around them can be improved and strengthened. And thus, their apparent negativity of probing evaluations can lead to positive results. Oddly enough, outside of their local sphere, those born on this day may be seen as living symbols of the area from which they come. So closely are they identified with it in the minds of others. Yet no one will be more keenly aware and critical of their neighborhood, town, city, state, or country than they. Their relationship then with their home place is interestingly symbiotic. A kind of sharing that can be at once advantageous and disadvantageous for both parties. On September 25, people can also be highly representative of their family or social circle. In addition, it is possible that they may embody the values and aspirations of their company or peers, but nonetheless stand aloof due to their critical and a questioning attitude. September 25 people often have difficulty opening up and expressing their emotions honestly in personal relationships. They can also appear cool and distant on first meeting. They do, however, have a tremendous need for affection, and it may only be that a history of emotional hurt has closed them off a bit to the world. Indeed, living an isolated life emotionally and or being quite introverted away from the social contract demanded by their careers can be a characteristic of those born on this day. And September 25 people are imaginative, but at the same time very precise and exacting. Perfectionists, they generally go over their work repeatedly in order to catch mistakes and shore up weaknesses. The demands they make on others are no different from what they ask of themselves. Interestingly enough, although they so often indulge in criticism of their social group, they do not react well to criticism of that group by outsiders. In fact, they can become defensive and curiously chauvinistic at times. Often, September 25 people are able to form a deeper relationship with their society, social circle, and or career than they ever could with an individual. And consequently, those who are involved with them personally on an emotional level may feel as if there is something already spoken for of which they can never be a part. And September 25 people must beware that their children in particular do not grow up feeling deprived in this respect. All right. How about that for a birthday breakdown? It had a really interesting dynamic that I wouldn't have thought represented somebody's day. That's right. So, hey, let's dive into some notes, see what else I had to say about your birthday breakdown. All right, September 25, a curious relationship with society and the social sphere, both representative and dependent on as much, but also a vocal critic of it. All right, the oxymoronic living symbol who is trying to tear it down. Symbiotic for sure, it sounds like, as the two of you both enable each other certain benefits, but the host would probably survive if you were to be ejected or depart. So you're a parasite in a way. All right, but a beneficial parasite, that's right. It's also interesting, you might stand of the living symbol of as much while you actively work at tearing it down. You might stand off the living, or at least dynamically improve it by cutting out the carcinogenic attributes. All right, so this thing would be a garbage heap without you, I think is what I'm trying to say. So even though you're just pounding away, it's you who's cutting the garbage out of it, all right, and making it flourish. All right, that's the idea, I think. And I can see how some may be rather apprehensive to approach you considering this, because you might see them as the garbage and give them the heave-ho, right? Fear of their own gutting, I wrote, after a fashion here. A trait that is said to carry over to social and family dynamics as well, and could lead to a form of introverted isolation on account of past hurts. Hey, we all kind of get that, don't we? But you got to rise up from it, okay? You got to keep going, all right? But the reading also claims you're a creative perfectionist who goes over the work repeatedly to catch mistakes, all right? And I can identify with that, though I tend to do so in my mind for hours, weeks, maybe even months at a time, wanting to get things right in my mind the first time so I don't have to do it over again, right? Though that's seldom the case. All right, so there's my pitfall. I should have just got it done and over with, right? The demands you place on others are no different than what you place on yourself, which is huge. That is an excellent and admirable leadership quality in my mind. Just be mindful, all right, that not everyone considers themselves as capable. They probably are, but they're going to let their ego and all that stuff talk them down and, oh, I can't do it. Yeah, they can, obviously, but they don't have the compassion and the drive that you do. So be mindful of that, especially if you a seldom stop. All right, you might hold yourself them to your standards, and if you're the kind of person who sleeps on the floor at the job, obviously other people aren't going to do that. All right, unless they're concerned you're going to cut out the carcinogenic elements and send them to Australia. Right, that's right, with the kangaroos and the prison colonies there. All back in the time there. Anyway, hey, that's been your birthday breakdown. A breakdown. Let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. A little bit mumble mouth there with the notes, but hey, let's try to pick it back up, shall we, with your numbers and planets. Those born on the 25th day of the month are ruled by the number 7, as 2 plus 5 equals 7, and by the planet Neptune. The connection between Neptune and Venus, the ruler of Libra, can produce an artistic, graceful, and ethereal personality. However, there is more present than meets the eye. The Neptune-Venus connection can also tempt September 25 people to indulging in drug taking, particularly alcohol. And most ruled by the number 7 enjoy change and travel. But September 25 people generally prefer staying closer to home. Ambivalent feelings toward their lifestyle can thus be the results. All right, hey, they personalized that one quite a bit. Not always the case. Let's see what I had to say about your numbers and your planets. The number 7 and the planet Neptune for the watery planet of dreams. They didn't mention that here, but that often gets put into the copy-paste, not-so-personal entries for the number 7, which, through its Venus connection, produces an apparent artistic, graceful, and ethereal personality. Whatever that means, I'm not quite sure. I have to look up ethereal one of these days. I don't recall what it means. This entry was personalized to mention an indulgence in drugs and a desire to travel, but a push-pull relationship considering your desire to stay home. Hey, I get it, all right? Though I never really had a desire to travel, I've done so quite a bit, and I know to some extent it's just not for me, all right? It's the picking up all that heavy bags and carting them everywhere and living out of them. Not for me. I like my stuff, you know what I'm saying? In any event, I say maybe try it out in earnest, okay? If it's something you have a desire to do, and so at least you know you did it for sure before you find out if you had a preference for it. And then you can get it off your mind if it's not for you, right? You don't live in, in regret that you never at least tried it. Yeah, so get out there and try a little travel. You might find you love it, all right? And then you're avoiding all those introverted things they were warning about. In any event, what else do I have to say? At least you can know for sure your preference and get it off your mind. All in all, a rather personalized numbers and planets entry, which they don't always do, as I said earlier. That's been your numbers and planets. Let's dive in with your tarot. That's right, the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideology, even though it's quite old, so it's not that new. And, but it's here in the book. It's fun. We don't necessarily have to, drill down on it and then believe in it, but it's in the book. It's fun. Let's expand our horizons, and see what it has to say. That's right. The 7th card of the major arcana is the Chariot, which shows a triumphant figure moving through the world and manifesting his physical presence in a dynamic way. And the card may be interpreted to mean that no matter how narrow or precarious the correct path, one must continue on. And the good side of this card posits success, talent, and efficiency. And the bad side suggests a dictatorial attitude and a poor sense of direction. Not very good if you go traveling. That's right. Maybe that's why you're staying home. And even what I say about your tarot. All right. The Chariot for the individual moving through life and manifesting their presence in a dynamic way. I wrote that one kind of chicken-footed there. I'd agree based on what's correlated in the breakdown. All right. And interpreted to suggest staying on your path regardless the difficulty. That's right in keeping with pressing on with the challenges and also just, cutting out all the garbage, I would say. All right. So you're bound to enjoy some kind of success if you're doing all the right moves, right? And if the company and social circle that you're, dynamically changing is prospering, right? And they couldn't do so without you, right? So, but like I said, just watch out for breaking it off in people and making poor choices, all right? And lean into checking your work maybe just a little bit more, all right? Who's to say? Anyway, that's been your tarot. Let's dive in with your health. All right. September 25, people must push themselves to exercise. Those less athletically inclined tend to be lazy in this respect and may be difficult to get to the sports field or the training room. An excellent form of exercise is for them to take long daily walks, and during which they are free to let their minds roam and their plans take shape. That's right. Figuring out who you're going to eject, all right? As far as diet is concerned, many September 25 people are satisfied with standard fare, but should, however, make an effort to eat from a more balanced menu if they're... a more balanced menu if their unusual meals overemphasize certain proteins, fats, or carbohydrates at the expense of others. If their work is sedentary, those born on this day must beware of lower back problems. Hey, right there with you. Jeez. Make sure you stretch out them psoas muscles there. The September 25 people should avoid alcohol, as they said earlier, and make an effort to drink 1 or 2 quarts of fluid. Preferably water, it says in parentheticals, every day to keep their kidneys active and avoid bladder or urinary infections. All right, hey, what I have to say about your health. All right, let's get into it. Let's find it first. Here we go. Don't be lazy, apparently, okay? It said you need to push yourself, some walks to help with your plans. That accompanying with showers, I would say. It helps get the mind going. I don't know, I have some of my best ideas in the shower for whatever reason. A balanced diet is suggested despite your seeming to care about as much. And alcohol is suggested to be avoided, as I mentioned earlier, and replaced with water. I think they were trying to emphasize something there. And they don't always drill down on this, so maybe be mindful, okay? And the kidneys, as not mentioned here, but it is a Libra body area, so that's probably why they put it in the book, though they didn't say as much. But that was found out in your Libra breakdown that I did a few days back. And that's been your health, so let's move on to some advice. That's right, your advice. Your tendency to be sharp or critical can get you in trouble. Ooh, remember that words can hurt worse than blows, and try to be open about what you're feeling. And don't cut yourself off from life. All right, real quick, in and out with the advice. Though I say they do put ideas in there that have a lot of value. What I had to say, I had to write it in the book because I ran out of room on the notepad there. Don't get into trouble, all right? At least too much trouble, all right? Your demands on others may affect the larger goal. That's right. That's why I said don't break it off in folks, all right? So expect hard work, I'd say, but don't be tyrannical, okay? Even if you are the living symbol. All right. Correlate your feelings, at least to some extent. Do it in earnest, modestly. Start out slow, right? And be open to stepping out of isolation at least once in a while. Maybe so you can go find your daily numbers. That's right. What else we got here? No need to go crazy. Maybe consider your way of tearing things down. That's right. Maybe consider how you're going to further tear things apart. Cut out the garbage, if you like. All right, that's been your advice. Let's dive in with your meditation. Okay, your meditation. Let's just take the energy down a hair. People hide more than money in books. Interesting. Once more. People hide more than money in books. I have an idea what it means, but I'm not going to tell you. It's your meditation. It's your birthday. I'll throw some spin on it that might ruin it for you. All right? So, yeah, just consider what that might mean. People hide more than money in books. All right, that's been your meditation. Let's move on to your strengths and your weaknesses. All right, are you ready? Your strengths, you're hardworking, you're goal-oriented, and you're determined. All right, and your weaknesses, are you ready? Let's get it. All right, you're closed, insensitive, and unforgiving. Ooh, there's that tyrannical nature cutting out the garbage. That's right, unforgiving. We got to build this thing up from the foundation, from the new foundation, in a dynamic, chariot-like way. That's right, okay. The kangaroo with the boxing. That's right. So that's been your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's move on to those born on this day. And then when we move into those born on this day, we not only find out whose company, who shares your company. We drill down on something. We drill down on something I like to focus on real quick, and that is finding your passion. A lot of times I meet folks out in this world and ask them what they do, and if they like it, and they don't. And why is that? It's because it's not something geared towards their passion, if they even know what that is. And hey, it troubles a lot of us, I would tend to think. And the reason, we don't have the time to put in the work to figure it out. And if we do have a passion, we don't know how to make any money with it, right? So I figured this is the perfect opportunity to find out not only other people who were born on this day, what they did, but what put them on the map, maybe what put them in the book. And maybe we can derive some inspiration from that if you're one of those people who just don't know what to do with life. I mean, we want to backflip out of bed in the morning and just be happy, right, with what we're doing. And a lot of the times you've got to have a passion, you got to have a desire and a drive to move forward. I have to have a reason and a purpose. And so let's see what some of the people who share your company, what their purpose was. All right, I think you get the point. So let's dive in with those born on this day. We got William Faulkner, the American Nobel Prize winning short story writer of A Rose for Emily and the novelist of Absalom, exclamation point on that last one. Dmitri Shostakovich was a German composer, and he wrote the Leningrad Symphony under German siege during World War II. We have Mark Rothko, the color field painter. We have Glenn Gould, was a Canadian pianist, composer, revolutionary interpreter of Bach. And that was an interesting guy. I saw a little documentary on. And check him out, old Glenn Gould. You want some inspiration? I got to really drill down on the isolation too. All right, enough about Glenn Gould there. You'll check him out. We got Michael Douglas, the film actor and producer, son of Kirk. We have Barbara Walters, the TV journalist and interviewer and the host of 2020. Robert Bresson, French master film director of The Trial of Joan of Arc and Pickpocket. And Sam Rivers, jazz saxophonist and multi-instrumentalist. Francesco Borromini was an Italian Baroque architect. Jean-Philippe Ramio, a French Baroque composer. We also have Pedro Almodovar, a Spanish satirical film director of Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. We also have Christopher Reeve, the film actor who played Superman. Mark Hamill, a film actor, played Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. Wendell Phillips, an explorer and the founder of the American Foundation for the Study of Man. Cheryl Teagues, a supermodel. Bob McAdoo, basketball forward rather. There was a hyphen in there. He was a center and a three-time NBA scoring leader. We also have Scottie Pippen, Chicago Bulls basketball forward, of the Olympic Dream Team gold medalists. We have Norman O'Brown, historian and writer of Life Against Death. We have Sir Colin Davis, a British conductor, and Heather Locklear, the actress and the model. And that rounds out those born on this day. You had a whole gamut of successful people. Hopefully you can take some inspiration. Get out there and be a supermodel or an actor or a color field painter. Though you don't want to copy Mark Rothko, so maybe form your other way of tearing things down and building them back up. That's right. Hey, so that's been those born on this day, and that about rounds out your birthday reading. Except to say, your season is fall, and your sign once again is Libra, of the Libra I period specifically. And your quality and elements is Cardinal air. And this has been September 25th, the day of the Symbolic Satirist, from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Used Elfers. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description, so pick you up a copy if you're happen to be having folks over for a little bit of a company meeting, I dare say that. Maybe where you're cutting the fat. Who's say this thing's gonna break the ice before you get busy ejecting folks, cutting out the garbage if you like. In any event, yeah, it's gonna break that last for real or figuratively, considering how big it is. But in any event, in all seriousness, what's more important here is it's your birthday. birthday, and so I just want to once again wish you a happy birthday. And for everyone else who joined us to celebrate, hey, I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday read. And lest we forget, your daily numbers. That's right, a 6 and a 6 for a 12. Get out there and let the universe show you it's with you on your path. All right, once again, happy birthday. Take care of yourselves.